This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by nhliberty.org. The decision needs to be made. Those are the words from Ron Paul's press guy, Jesse Benton. He's referring to the possibility of a Ron Paul run for president in 2012. According to a Reason magazine article, Benton says, quote, he hasn't closed out the idea of another run, unquote. Then he goes on to say, quote, we have some time to decide whether he runs again or whether he gets behind somebody else. But we don't have tons of time. By the middle of 2009, the decision needs to be made, unquote. Those quotes appeared on November 14th in Reason Online, and they were picked up today by the Los Angeles Times. In 2007 and 8, Ron Paul ran as a Republican, but achieved what was considered to be the most successful Libertarian run for president, since although he is in the Republican Party, his ideologically is essentially Libertarian. He raised more money than any other Republican in the third quarter of 2007 and was essentially the second-to-last man out of the race for the Republican nomination. If Paul does not decide to run, other names being floated include New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson and former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, both of which are considered possibilities that Paul might get behind. Paul would be 77 in 2012. He turned 73 this August. So he would be unusually old to be making a run. On the other hand, he is a physician who lives what he preaches and bikes 7 miles a day. According to Benton, who is actually, I should clarify, the press man for Campaign for Liberty, not necessarily directly for Ron Paul. According to Benton, Paul needs to make a decision whether to run by the summer of 2009. Speaking for myself, I would be happy to see a third potential contender for the Ron Paul mantle, and that would be former New Hampshire Governor Craig Benson. However, Benson left office after only 2 years. He was voted out after some minor scandal talk. You can't get away with even being suspected of scandal in New Hampshire. Oh, by the way, one of the key reasons that Benton gave for Paul needing to make his decision quickly was that he would need to appear in New Hampshire very early on. So if Paul does decide to run within the next 6 months, that could mean we'll be seeing him again in New Hampshire within the next year. It never ends. But it's nice for once to at least have the possibility that us libertarians will have a dog in the fight for once. Well, I guess it would be twice. This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by nhliberty.org. They're the folks who cranked out 30,000 of these. Locally oriented voter guides. Endorsing some candidates, opposing others in the 2008 general election. This voting guide appeared as an insert in key newspapers in New Hampshire. But the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance only works as well as you. Join them to participate or make a donation. And I should say join us because I am a member. nhliberty.org